Tuesday, September 15th. We're going to kick off a new unit today, writing on ratios, proportional relationships. And our particular lesson today is on writing ratios and representing ratios with diagrams. Okay? So if you'll pause the video for a minute and write this in your notes as your daily learning target, I can use ratio language to describe a ratio. Alright, and I've switched up your warm-up a little bit, and actually I'm going to change out a page because you can't tell anything about that one since it's not in color. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, if you sorted this set out by color, how many color groups would you have? Okay, so let's go through them. Starting at the top, you got some red, then you got some green. Guess we'd call this gold or yellow, and we got some light blue. So how many color sets do we have? Red, green, blue, and yellow, so 4. Okay. How about by area? How many does this have? 4. This one has 3. This one has 5. This one only has 2. 3, 2. So far we got 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you see anything that's any different than that? That one's also 5, 5, 4. Okay, so you'd have 4 groups if you sorted it that way. How else could you sort it? What's another way that you could sort these figures? What's another way you could sort these figures? Could you sort them like their shape, like if they're L-shaped or if they're stacked? Could you sort them that way? Of course you could. So the idea I'm wanting you to come with is maybe there's not always one finite correct answer. Okay? So let's keep going. So we're going to talk about mixtures today. Elena mixed 2 cups of white paint. Here's your white paint. With 6 tablespoons of blue. Right? Okay. All right. Discuss the statements that follow and circle all those that correctly describe this situation. Okay. So let's look at A. The ratio of cups of white paint to tablespoons of blue paint is 2 to 6. Do we have 2 whites? Yes, we do. Do we have 6 blues? Yes, we do. So will that one work? Yes, it will. Okay. How about B? For every cup of white paint, there are 2 tablespoons of blue paint. If I drew a line right here, white to blue, is that 1 to 2? No, it's 1 to 3. So we're going to mark out B. How about C? There is 1 cup of white paint for every 3 tablespoons of blue paint. Is that right? Yes, it is. So we're going to circle that one. How about D? There are 3 tablespoons of blue paint to every cup of white paint. Is that correct? Yes, it is. E, how about E? For each tablespoon of blue paint, there are 3 cups of white. Is that true? Well, no, it's not. Isn't it backwards? For every 6 tablespoons of blue, there are 2 cups of white. That one's right. And the ratio of tablespoons of blue paint to cups of white is 6 to 2. Blue to white, 6 to 2. Yes. So those are the ones we got right. All right? So let's look and let's us do one now. Jada mixed 8 cups of flour with 2 pints of water to make paste for an art project. First thing we're going to do is draw a diagram. This diagram, did you see this one up here? This diagram does not have to be fancy. Okay? 8 cups of flour. And you know what? I'm just going to put F's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 2 pints of water. Water and water. Okay? Have we done that sufficiently? Yes, we have. Write at least 2 sentences describing the ratio of flour, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, flour to water. How many flours? 8. How many waters? 2. Can we write it another way? Can we write flour is 4, water is 1? We certainly can. Could we do pints of water? Two cups of flour. Oops, sorry. Pints of water. How many waters? 2. To how much flour? 8. I mean, we could get creative with this. I can think of 6 different ways right off the top of my head. Okay? For each pint of water, and write this down, for each pint of water, there are 4 cups of flour. Okay? So I'm going to give you a minute to finish writing that down. Okay? So, then, let's do a problem. Okay? The ratio of bananas to apples is blank to blank. How many bananas are there? Well, there are 9, and there are 4 apples. The ratio of plums to apples is 3 to 4. For every blank apples, there are blank plums. For every 4 apples, there are 3 plums. Right? And for every 3 bananas, there is how many plums? 1 plum. Kind of gave that one away, didn't I? The ratio is 9 to 3. Can 9 to 3 be simplified? Yes, it can. They're both divisible by 3. So it can go to 3 to 1. Okay? All right. So let's look at this last one. There are 3 cats in a room and no other creatures. Each cat has 2 ears, 4 paws, and 1 tail. Okay? Draw a diagram that shows an association between numbers of ears, paws, and tails. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down here. Ears, paws, and tails. How many ears? 2. How many paws? 4. And how many tails? Okay, so how many times will I need to represent this? Well, how many cats did I have? So I need to represent it 3 times. I only have it represented once. Okay, so there's 2 times. And I apologize for my artistry or lack thereof. Okay, so there's the 3 cats. Now, since we've got our diagram done, it should be very easy to pick up our information. The ratio of ears, how many ears? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To paws, ratio of ears to paws to tails is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to 12 to 3. There are how many paws for each tail? How many paws? How many paws here for this one tail? Of course, there are 4. And how many paws for every ear? For every ear, 1 ear is 2 paws. Okay? Question? Any questions? Okay.